Now what's a good video without a little drama?
Like a Hellcat.
Hey, what's up guys? Alright, we have a short and sweet little video, but we're going to keep it detailed as well. And we're going to cover everything that you need to know about an oil change in your 2015 through 18 model Hellcat Challenger and Chargers. So I do hope that you'll find some value in this video. There is a couple of steps that you need to know how to do when it comes to changing the oil in your Hellcat, because you don't want to mess this up. Also, if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you'll subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and give me a thumbs up. Let me know that I'm doing okay. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive into the video. Alright, to get things started, you are going to need 0W40 Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic, and this is an SRT exclusive engine oil, as you can see here. And this can be kind of hard to find unless you buy it online. I just went to my local Dodge dealership and picked up this. And then you have your regular Mopar filter here, and there is your part number. With this, you can also run the SRT filter, and it is a little bit more high flowing, but they didn't have one of those in stock, so I'm just going to use this guy right here. Now when you buy all this oil, make sure that you pick up 6 in 1, so you have 7 quarts. You're going to need them. Alright, so if you have one of these catch cans, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and empty this guy out too. Every oil change. I emptied mine out a couple of weeks ago after I drove about 3,000 miles, and it was actually full up to about right here. So now we're going to take our oil filler cap off, like that, and just set it to the side. Now we're going to jack up the car, and there's some stuff that you have to undo underneath the car in order to get to everything that you need to get to. So it is recommended that you probably go for about 5,000 miles off of this synthetic oil. I'm going to go every 4 because I drive the car harder, and you're going to go through oil a little faster that way. It's going to get more dirty. But you can check your gauge inside on your instrument cluster, and it will tell you if you're getting close to an oil change or not. So you can choose to go off of that or not. Alright, so what you're going to do is you have to take off this belly pan, and right here you have a bunch of these little screws, and you're going to need a 7mm for that. And then you're going to come over here, and there's 4 of these screws there, and then 2 in the back, and those are going to be a 10mm. Alright, once you have that belly pan off, you're going to locate your oil pan, and then you have your drain fill plug back here, and that is a 13mm. And once we get that loose, just let it drain. After that, we're going to move into the front, because this is a step that you need to know how to do up here. We'll get to that in a second. There we go. Now we're going to make a mess. Okay, now we're going to just let that drain completely out, and we're going to move on to the front, which is your oil cooler. And you need to know how to do this. This is something that a lot of people might miss, especially if you take your Hellcat to, a regular oil change place, which I probably wouldn't recommend on this car, unless you're going to like a dealership, or something like that. All right, up in here, you can see that you have some push pins. And there are 3 of them. Get you a pry tool, and you're going to pull these out. You can use a flathead screwdriver if you need to. And then on the other side you have them as well, and then you can remove this part of the belly pan. Just like that. So I'm not going to do the other side and take this thing completely off, because what I need to get to is right here, and that is your oil cooler lines, and this should be a 15mm. Let's check that out. 15 millimeter fits. Okay, and then this wobbles back and forth, so you're going to have to probably brace that some way, but you're going to take this loose and drain the oil from here as well. But before I do any of that, I'm going to let this thing completely drain. I may actually pour a little bit of clean oil down there just to flush it out, and then I'm going to seal that back up, and then we'll go to the oil cooler. Okay, so I added some clean oil and just a little bit, and it's draining it out, and you can see it's not so dark in color. So I'm gonna let that finish, and then we should be good to go. Also, guys, do not forget there is your oil filter there, so you do want to take that thing off. Don't forget about it, and let that thing drain out too. All right, so next thing that we want to do is take our filter out. And this is the SRT. Huh. Guess they sold me. That's nice. They told me that this was not the SRT variant, and I guess this is. So there's your part number there. Pretty cool. Makes me happy. Get rid of all that. Run on the ground. Okay. And we're gonna fill this thing up with oil. So you don't want to do any cold starts with no oil cycling through your engine when you first do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it to the filter like that. Take a little bit and go around the rings. The O-ring here should be good to go. Alright guys, so it's time for the oil cooler. Now when you take this thing down, there is a pin that's in the center right there, and I'm going to try to get around it, but you're going to see this, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. I did not do this, so just be careful when you do this thing. Right here, this is broken. Now these are two separate pieces, but you see where it's attached there in the center, down there? Okay, when I bought the car, it was already like this. So if I can get it to focus a little better. There we go. So the guy that owned my car before me was an older gentleman, and he probably did not do his own oil changes. So he just probably took it like a Jiffy Lube or something like that. And they probably didn't know how to separate these pieces, so they pulled on this until that broke. I about guarantee that's what happened. It's upsetting. It's unfortunate, that I bought the car this way, but it's not a big deal once it's screwed up in place. You just have that little crack there. And I do have a plan to fix that, but anyway, enough rambling. So you're going to carefully move this thing out of the way. Just you have to get to that pin down there, and then you could remove the whole thing if you want to, and then we're going to drain that guy right there. And again, that's a 15 millimeter, and you want to support this thing because it moves back and forth while you unbolt this nut. Well, this gets better and better. So I didn't have to support mine at all because I barely even touched this thing and it was already loose. So I don't know what the deal is here. I'm glad that I've been able to catch this and it hasn't caused me a problem yet, and I've had no leaking out of this car. But just be very cognizant when you put this thing back together to make sure that it is tight enough it's not going to come undone. But I mean, look, I can do that with my fingers without even using a wrench, so that's not good. Like, less than happy. Alright, so I told you guys that an older gentleman owned this before me. Look what has happened while in his care. Look at this crap. How the hell? Oh man. So I haven't owned a pre-owned vehicle in like, I don't know, let's see here, about 15 years maybe. This is the first pre-owned vehicle I've bought. I don't know, guys. When I buy vehicles, I take really good care of them, especially when they're really expensive. But, there are some things with this car, that just lead me to believe that maybe it was a really old guy that just did not do any of his own work. And I understand that there's people like that. And it's unfortunate, and he probably didn't know that wherever he was taking his vehicle to, that stuff like that was happening. I have no idea. I don't know. I know his name, but I don't know his story. But I would say that when you're doing an oil change and stuff like that, definitely get under your car and check for damage, leakages, anything like that. Especially if you're buying a pre-owned vehicle, maybe when you inspect, get under there and take a look. Now, with mine, I actually had it delivered, so I actually kind of bought it sight unseen. It was a big, expensive car. The Carfax was good. Everything was fine. But there's a couple little quirks like that I'm finding out that I didn't know at the time. So silly me for not really checking the car out, but I haven't done this in forever, so I've always bought new. But anyway, word of the wise. Yeah, just something to think about. All right, we got the car back on the ground. I'm over my hurt feelings. We're just going to love the car for what it is and put some oil in it. Alright guys, so what I did was I put 6 quarts in this thing, and we're going to put this guy back on. Alright guys, so I have a 16 Hellcat, and I'm putting 6 quarts in this thing. We're going to fire it up, let it idle for about 5 minutes, turn it off, let it cool back down. Mail guy just got here, so cool. See, on the 17 and up cars, there's a different dipstick. The dipsticks are apparently different, so have researched. And anyway, so once we let the car cool back down, we're going to recheck the oil, add a little bit more if needed. If you have a 17 and up car, you're going to probably go for just 6.5 quarts right off the bat, and we should be good to go. And then we're going to reset the light. Alright, we're good to go on oil, so let's jump in the car and reset the oil life. So what we're going to do is put this to the on position without the car running. Turn the music down. Vehicle info, we're going to find the oil life. So yeah, I was right at 3%. Held OK, and there you go. Back to 100%. This button. I did see another video from Driveway Demons, awesome channel, go check him out, where he was using the accelerator to slowly push 3 times to get the oil life to reset. I'm not really sure what that was about because I just held OK and it reset for me. He may have a 15 model car, I'm not sure. But anyway, this seems to have worked, so we are good to go there. Alright guys, that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and again, definitely hit the subscribe button. I do videos like this from time to time, just educational videos, stuff to keep you going, and turn your notifications on and give the video a thumbs up. So, unfortunately, we had some damage underneath the car, so definitely want to highlight again, check your undercarriage whenever you do stuff, whenever you get under the car, and make sure to go over everything thoroughly. In my case, I didn't know, I bought the vehicle pre-owned and it was already pre-existing, but it's not hurting anything. It's just something that kind of makes me frown a little bit, but life goes on, and it's okay. But just, again, word to the wise. So stay safe on the road, and I'll see you next time.